So I worked at Dior as a product manager. But getting there wasn't easy. Before I got hired, I spent months applying and hoping someone would give me a shot. And I kept getting rejected because I was doing the exact same thing as everyone else going after the same positions. Once I realized I needed a different approach and started applying differently to positions I wanted, everything changed and Dior hired me. So today I want to share the 4 often ignored steps that any creative should follow if they want to get hired by a big fashion house. And knowing these steps before applying would have saved me a tremendous amount of time, stress, and missed opportunities, and they can do the same for you. So let's get into it. So the first step is to build a portfolio tailored to the company you want to join. You can be extremely talented, but if your work doesn't speak the same language as the brand or the company you're trying to join, they will ignore you. Most portfolios don't fail because the work is bad. They fail because they feel disconnected from the company looking at them. Big fashion houses want portfolios that clearly show you understand the brand and its aesthetic. That's why before you even think about creating new work, you need to study the brand you want to work for deeply. Go through their past collections, analyze their campaigns, pay attention to the details most people ignore: the textures, the silhouettes, the color palettes, the way visuals are framed, and how emotion is communicated through their designs. This isn't about copying their work. Copying is the fastest way to get ignored. What you're really doing is learning their visual language so you can speak it fluently in your own voice. Your portfolio should feel like a conversation between their world and your world. It should say, I understand who you are, while also clearly showing, here's what I bring that's different. It should show that you understand their aesthetic while also bringing something fresh and original through your own perspective. And that balance is what makes your work memorable and demonstrate that you can contribute in a meaningful and unique way. So step 2 is about understanding your best creative strength. Before you reach out to any company, you need to be crystal clear on what you're the best at, what sets you apart, and what you can bring to the table that's unique. And having that clarity makes your portfolio, your messages, your cover letters, your interviews far more effective than anything else. Ask yourself, what part of the creative process do I excel at? Is it research? Is it concept development? Is it design? Is it storytelling? What comes naturally to me that others struggle with? And what positive feedback have I consistently received about my work? And once you've reflected on your strength and what sets you apart, you'll be able to pinpoint the areas where you can have the biggest impact. And this is the value you want to communicate in your portfolio, in your messages, in your interviews, in your cover letter. And knowing your unique strength doesn't just make you stand out, it gives you confidence. You'll be able to speak with clarity and authority about how your skills and perspective align with the team's needs. And this is all part of understanding your creative identity. So when the opportunity arises, you can clearly communicate, here is what I do best, and here is exactly how I can help your team. Step 3 is all about visibility. And honestly, this is probably the most important step. Most creatives have amazing talents, strong ideas, huge potential, but they stay invisible. And invisible talent doesn't create any opportunities. Visibility is the best leverage ever, and almost no creatives use it that way. Because if your work isn't seen, it doesn't exist. And it doesn't matter how good you are, how hard you work, or the huge potential that you have. If people and companies you want to work for and with can't see your creativity, it won't make any difference and you'll be treated like everyone else. But putting yourself out there is about giving your work a chance to be seen and do the work for you. And you need to share your work consistently. Don't wait for the perfect moment, or don't wait for the moment where you'll be ready to post it. Post your projects, share your process, tell about your experiments, show what's working, what's failing, what you're learning. Let people see who you are, what you do, how you do it, how you think, not just the polished final result. Because visibility compounds over time. And compounding visibility creates leverage. And leverage creates opportunities. And when you build visibility, people start to notice your work and you. And they'll reach out to you. They'll want to collaborate with you. And opportunities will come to you. So over time, you won't have to chase opportunities. You'll have plenty of options and you'll get to choose who you want to work with. So 4th and final step is about going directly to the people you want to work with. So the hiring managers or the hiring designers. So most creatives make the mistake of just applying through the career website and just leave it at that. And that's what everyone else does. It doesn't make you stand out in any way. To get noticed, you need to do things differently from everyone. Yes, you can still submit your application online. Do it. But you need to reach out directly to the person you want to work with. And that's exactly how I got my internship at Dior. I sent an email to the manager of the position I wanted, explaining why I wanted the role, why I wanted to work for the company, and what I could bring to the team that would be different. Because when you apply through the career website, your application is viewed by HR. And I have nothing against HR, but they don't understand the nuances of the position the same way the hiring managers or designers do. You know, the studio or the designers, they know exactly what they want and what they need, and they understand the role and the department way better than the HR. So start by identifying the designers or the managers in the studio or department where you want to work, and you can easily find them on LinkedIn, and just send them a message introducing yourself, explaining who you are, what you're looking for, why you're interested in their company, and how you can contribute to the team that's different. And if they don't respond, just follow up as many times as you can, because persistence is key here. So don't be discouraged if you don't hear back immediately. Before I got the Dior internship, I sent God knows how many emails to plenty of companies who never responded. So follow up until you get what you want. So if you follow those 4 steps, you'll naturally be ahead of 99% of the people going after the same positions as you. But here's one more thing I want to share. Getting into a big luxury fashion house isn't the end goal. It's a step towards a bigger goal that you should have. Because your creativity, your ideas, your skills, they belong to you first. You don't owe them to a company. You just lend them to a company to help grow the company. And as a creative, knowing the potential you have, you shouldn't limit yourself to only creating for someone else. Don't forget to create for yourself too. Build your own projects, explore your own ideas, develop your own point of view, build your own creative companies. Because if your creativity only exists within a company, that creativity of yours isn't independent and it limits you. And that's why step 3 is so important, you know, putting yourself out there. When you share your work, document your process, and make yourself visible, you attract opportunities, clients, collaborators, and projects that no company can give you. And that's something no one can take away from you, because a job, it can be taken away from you. You know, companies have layoffs, trends change, visas expire, but your skills, your work, your creative independence cannot be taken away from you by no one. And keep in mind that your career cannot live in someone else's hands. So yes, working at a big luxury fashion house can open many doors, but it shouldn't stop you from building something on your own for yourself at the same time. So all this to say that the ultimate goal isn't getting the job. It's building a career no one can take away from you. The job is just a chapter. Your creativity is the book. And to truly succeed, yes, you probably need both. Industry experience to learn, grow, and gain credibility, and creative independence to turn your skills, ideas, and visions into real value, impact, and freedom. So to end this video, getting into a big luxury fashion house isn't about luck. It's about preparation and doing what your competition isn't doing. That's it. And by executing on the 4 steps I shared, you are ahead of 99% of the people trying to get after the same positions as you. And once you get your job at your big luxury fashion house, because I know you will get it, remember, the job is not the goal. It's a step to make you better as a creative, because it's your responsibility to put your ideas, your work, and your creativity to work for you. Because before anything else, they belong to you. So create opportunities for yourself, build projects outside of any company, and focus on a career that no one can take away from you.